Good day, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the tank review of the A39 Tortoise. The A39 Tortoise is a British Tier 4 tank destroyer with a battle rating of 6.7. And if you want a true rolling fortress capable of not just taking damage but also dishing it out, with overall good protection, superb survivability, and also the possibility of retreating like a Frenchman, you just might have found your tank. Now, overall, I have to say, this is a tank that I was surprised that I liked it, especially in the matter of War Thunder. And a reason for that is because when I unlocked this, I was still trying to grind the T95. And despite all the buffs that the T95 received, especially with its APHE shell, I think this tank is still superior to it in every way. Yeah. But let's go on with the armor review. So, first of all, the 170mm of hull armor on the stat card is here, which houses the transmission. Then this part here, which is at an extreme angle of 75 degrees with a thickness of 55mm, just can be partially overpenetrated by Russian 152mm APHE shells. Then we have this armor block, all surrounding the gun, which is here 215mm strong, where your main opponents, the German Long 88 and the Russian 122mm shell, the time traveling one on the IS-2 mod 44, can penetrate at close ranges. Then you have upon this, you have this gun mantle of 80mm and then this gun shield of 96mm. Then those parts here are so extremely angled that, yeah, they are practically unpenetratable. You might not see that many ATGMs, to be honest, so yeah, you're quite safe. Even the Leopard with its heat shell does have real difficulties going through here. But then we have this part, which is 152mm thick, sloped back at 42 degrees, resulting in an effective thickness of around about 210mm, as well as here. But here, this part around this machine gun is rather flat, so Panthers might reliably penetrate here. And then we also have the prominent weak spot, which is this cupola, which is 100mm all around, and which does have gun shield, I guess, of 25mm. The side here is 152mm as on the front. Then beneath the tracks it's 110mm, but additionally we have this rolled homogeneous armor plating here with 50mm, and also structural steel chassis with the wheels and also the tracks, filling a lot of gaps. And don't be fooled by this. This is just a housing, I guess, for additional fuel tanks, something like that. It's not modeled, but the real armor is behind that. Then we have this top armor, which is 25mm and 50mm here. Also on the back we have this 110mm with 100mm here, and also this hatch is 100mm. It's not an actual weak spot, but at this tier, when you get behind a Tortoise, you shouldn't have problems penetrating a Tortoise from behind. Also we have this additional tracks here. So it also makes it really nice, or rather reliable, against aerial attacks. It seemed to survive them better than most other tanks. Now, for its survivability and the reason for it, let's have a look at the X-ray, and we can see why. This tank houses 7 crew members, with the gunner right next to the gun, the loader and another loader both behind the gun, the driver sitting on the left hand side, together with the machine gunner and another machine gunner on the other side of the tank, with the commander sitting on the right hand side when you look at the tank. Now, 7 crew members, that's a lot of survivability, combined with the big size of the tank with a lot of room. even APHE shells might not one-shot this tank, even big APHE shells, as there is a lot of room, so increasing the health of your crew members is a viable tactic. Also, we see that the 60 shells and their propellant are exclusively at the bottom of the tank, and we will come to this in a moment. So, the gun. It's a 94mm 32 pounder OQF cannon with, as I said, in total 60 rounds. Now, what are we talking about here? We are talking about a shot Mark 1 with 243 millimeters of penetration. This is an APCBC shell, but it's not a German APCBC shell, so it lacks the explosive filler. It's practically a solid shot, but thanks to the rate of fire, which you can increase with an A screw down to 9 or you can reduce the reload rate to just 9.1 seconds on an A screw. With my silver crew, I have it currently at 9.65 seconds. It's the only gun at this caliber, not just in the game, but also within the British tech tree. So I guess there are a few comparisons to make. First of all, the ace reload rates of other guns at this battle rating. The long 88s from the German, 8.5 seconds. From the Su-100, the Soviet tank destroyer, 10.5 seconds. The Yak Tiger, which is your main threat, I guess, 18.2 seconds, so twice the reload, and 9.5 on the M36 GMC, the American tank destroyer. So, also the HE shell is not really worth mentioning. It might be good enough for blasting some silly AAA vehicles, but that's all. Now for the mobility, I guess. It's not very good. Even in arcade battles, we just are looking at just 14 horsepower per ton for a 81.3 ton monster. Now, there are good news and there are bad news about the mobility. First, the bad news are your top speed is limited to 20.6 kilometers an hour here in arcade, and even in realistic battles, 19 kilometers an hour are not blisteringly fast. And you have even a lower horsepower to 10 ratio of just 8. So, also you have neutral steer, so when you turn, for example, right, the right track is going backwards while the left one is going forwards, so that increases your neutral steering speed. But you can't really steer with speed due to the lack of horsepower to ton ratio. The next thing is, this thing, while just being able to go 20 kilometers backwards, is also capable of going backwards with the same speed, so 20 kilometers backwards. That allows you to go out of sticky situations unexpectedly fast. A lot of enemy players are really surprised by how fast you can retreat. Therefore, French style tank destroyer. Yeah, jokes aside, this tank isn't. It's really good. The next thing would be the upgrades. Now, therefore, we have no researchable shell types. The way is relatively clear. You're a frontline assault gun, so you need the parts. The horizontal drive is really important, which I will talk about in a moment. The fire prevention system is important alike, because there is nothing more frustrating to just burn down where you have like most of your crew still alive. Adjustment of fire, you really need it. You just have a solid shot, so you don't have the nice feature of Russian or German APHE shells, or you just have to penetrate and the shell does mostly the rest. Elevation mechanism, not that important. The crew replenishment further increases your amazing survivability. Your tracks are not that unimportant as it increases the overall module strength, which reduces the amount of tracking. The rest is really not that important. Even without the suspension, this is one of the most precise tank to fire on the move. Yeah, it's not very fast, so no surprise there. Combined with the elevation mechanism and the suspension, it gets even more surprisingly accurate. Brake system, you really don't need it, so this is probably the last module. For mobility, first the engine, then the transmission, and then the filters. That's all I can tell you. For the crew skills, it's rather straightforward. Your driver is not really that important, so you need the field repair and agility and vitality on it. I like the gunner, but there you have to really make the precision count. Targeting and range finding are important due to your solid shot. The tank commander needs its leadership, of course, and also field repair and vitality. The tank loaders, they need the weapon reloading, of course. But the radio operator also needs vitality, agility, and field repair. But overall, the radio operator is just a spare crew member, to be honest. I would recommend for you to get the expert crew. Is it worth to get a talisman on this tank together with an upgrade to ace qualification? To be honest, I doubt it. For me, the chieftain is a much better tank for that, or the centurion or the Carnarvon, therefore. But that does not mean that this tank is bad. However, I think that the centurion and the Carnarvon are better tanks. So I think that's enough theory crafting. One final thing to note is, first of all, when I played this tank first, I got often my gun knocked out by enemy players that shot this gun shield here, which not just knocked out the gun breech but also the gun itself, and therefore took out my gun out of commission. Lately this didn't happen, but I just played a few games to get back the crew replenishment and respec this vehicle. And I mentioned the weak spots here and here. Now, together with the good firing arc of like 15 to 20 degrees to the side, which is really good, and sets it apart again from the T95, which has a really poor gun firing arc, together with the amazing 10 degrees of gun depression, you can do one thing, and that is working right hand corner. So when there is a building right here, you poke around this corner and try to get the gun to the maximum right arc, so that not just your machine gun turret is hidden, but also you increase the angle on this machine gun flat area here. Together with your very good reverse speed, you can take the shot and reverse really quickly. That's a really good tactic. So, overall tactics should be to go right into the thickness of the battle and angle and try your best. And whittle down the enemy by just crippling them. One-shotting enemies, again, it's just a solid shot, unless you get really good, not splash, but what's the right word? Shrapneling within the tank, or you hit a fuel tank and blow it up, or ammunition rack. You need a few shots. So also taking out any ammunition doesn't seem to work too well. So that's at least enough theory crafting. Let's get into some hot gameplay, shall we? So, welcome to Stalingrad. And yes, this is arcade, but it doesn't matter. The capabilities are represented equally in both game modes. If a tank is slow, he's slow in both game modes. If a tank is overall good, it is good. And what this tank is capable of doing is all the more impressive, as you know, there is this infamous skillless you know, armor value cross thing you see here in the middle. Yeah, we will see. So here I just try to take the gunner out of the Panther, but I aim too high and just take out the commander. But thanks to my reload speed and to my armor strength, I'm here angled perfectly. I should go a little bit more to the right so that my weak spot is really protected, but this Panther is not a big threat to me. The shrapneling on the German 75mm shell is pathetically bad. It's one of the worst shells in the game in this regard, in terms of APHE shells. And now we're storming the already captured cap zone, and my squad member takes him out. I see a Black Prince but bounce off. I angle myself and wait for the return shot, but it doesn't happen. This is a very good tactic. Forwards, backwards, don't allow the enemy to get a proper aim at you. This saves you sometimes in almost every tank when you know that you have to receive an inevitable shot. Then this Black Prince gets taken out by a King Tiger, so I move on. I actually want to get into this position. I see this T-44 and then this IS-2, and then I'm a bit cornered. I'm not really sure what to do, and then I see also this Henschel King Tiger popping up. What to do? I shoot the windows and then give him a good shell into the turret. So let's move on. This IS-2, I'm almost reloaded. He fires, and then I was a bit hesitated a bit too long, but thankfully he held still long enough for me to take the shot. Again, you can see how important the precision of the gunner, the gun, and all the modules and stuff is. The damage output is not too good. So to this point, it's not very spectacular. It seems like that we have cleared the situation for the moment, but it is all about to change soon, as the enemy team is doing a really good push. And then again, I'm not taking my chances. I track the 10.5 centimeter Tiger and delay his advance. He's busy repairing, so I can scout a little bit other tanks. Now this fence really annoyed the hell out of me, as it prevented me from properly aiming. And then I sent the shell right through the rooftop of this other King Tiger, which faced downwards. I get shot a little bit from the left. Then I see this T-44. I'm not even able to track him. My buddy gets taken out by the T-44-100. Russian beer. What a fitting name. A shell missed me. This shell made a funny change in direction on the gun mantle of the Panther. I tried to change to the T-44 and managed to take out his gunner just after he fires. Well, not everything gets to plan as I wanted to, and then I'm make a little bit of a wrong aim here at the Tiger, and again you can see how much I bounce and how little the crew is taking damage, and then I knock out the gun at the commander and the cannon breach with a direct hit on the T-44-100. There you can see the great firing arc of the shell. I send one right through the upper hull of the Panther, taking out the loader and the machine gunner, reducing his crew to 3. He hits me again. I was hit by something where I was not sure what it was, but it was a mighty shell. I received a lot of damage. At this point, I was still grinding for the crew replenishment module, so I was not able to refill it. And also, one crew member at least is really wounded pretty hard. I tracked the Panther And yeah, sadly that was not enough in terms of... Those are the bounces that I don't understand. And this this T-34-85 is not a big threat, but then this guy completely ignores me, sending one right through his crew, taking him out. Then I receive another shell, I'm down to 3 crew members, and then I make a crucial error. Instead of retreating, I thought that this Störer Emil had already taken his shot, but then the K40 gun proves me wrong. And there you can see that this gun makes no prisoners at all. Yeah, that's the first battle. Let's get into the second battle on Frozen Pass Mountain. And right from the start, we can see that this tank, while being limited in its top speed, is not that cripplingly slow like the T-95. You still arrive the battle zone. If somebody, you know, misses to enter the battle for a few seconds, you already are on your way. The T-95, however, is hopelessly slow. And also the survivability of the T-95 is ridiculously bad with those cupola shots, especially from especially the survivability against long 88 or Russian 122mm shells is really not given, like in the T-95. So there I tried to flank a little bit. I was a bit concerned for the enemy to flank, but they didn't take the opportunity. And then I see a T-54 and... yeah, I aimed a little bit too low. However, he has a few other lovers around him, namely a T-44, and I get the kill assist. Then I try to get around this house, and this is a left-hand corner, so... yeah, not the very best opportunity, but again, you can hide one weak spot. Sadly, this T-34, this T-34, sorry, didn't give me an opportunity. Unlike this IS-2, where I managed to really... no, it was a T-44-100, sorry, where he left a bit of ammunition in the back of his turret. Grave mistake. Then I tried to snipe this IS-2 and I nearly make it, taking out the loader and the cannon breech and just slightly damaging the ammunition. Sadly, it was not enough, but I reload in time and then try to get a shot into anything that presents itself. I'm not picky with my targets. And another shell taking out the loader and damaging the ammunition on this T-34. Sadly, not enough damage to blow up the ammunition on this Russian tank. Something is cooking off. I'm not quite sure what it is. And I move on. I'm not sure how many tanks are left in the town. I see this T-34-85 and he gets taken out by the T-54. I see this IS-2. And yeah, the shell hits the cannon barrel. Well, he's taken out of action for a moment, so he repairs. I can aim really, really nicely and send one right through to reduce his crew to 2. And then I wait. I know that there must be the loader, and thanks for playing. Not just taking out the crew, but also damaging the ammunition for a potential knockout. Then for a split second I had this IS-2 inside, then changed to the T-44, taking out his commander and damaging the loader. I expected this T-34-85 to flank me, but he saw all the potential guns near me, and then I advanced. I have received a lot of shells, they all harmlessly bounced or didn't go through, so I'm now willing to advance. Now, while I'm really confident in my armor, I don't do silly stuff. And oh my god, there is a Ferdinand. Can I reload in time? No, I can't. Well, he obviously knew about my weak spot and sent right through one right through the flat machine gun port, and I return the favor, reducing his crew to 4. But this is a game of wiggling him down. German tanks overall are really not that easy, and I make the perfect shot without really damaging anything, just setting him on fire. So he has to activate his fire prevention system again and taking out the gunner again. And then he gets taken out by a T-54. And I further advance. You see, I'm the assault gun. I'm the alpha tank, so to speak. I see this IS-2 in time and send one right through the weak spot, or yeah, he tries to angle his armor, exposing the one portion where the ammunition sits. That's a one shot. Then I receive another shell. I wasn't quite sure by what. Yeah, then I see this IS-2 and this King Tiger. I try to retreat, but yeah, it was all too late. So, yeah, there you can see it. This is the 50-50 chance. Very often shell will bounce off there, but sometimes they go through. After that, I took out the Centurion Mark III because I also had to research the crew replenishment module to respec it. Now, overall thoughts on the A39 Tortoise. I think it's a really great tank. As you could see in those two battles, it really can take the punishment and it really can return the favor. But it's not, you know, like the Yak Tiger, a brute force of nature. It really depends on also having a few team members around to assist your advance. So anyways, thanks for watching, thanks for listening. Please consider to give this video a like if you did, subscribe if you want to see more. Let me know in the comment section if you know any further tricks. And that's for today. See you next time on the battlefield.